Hey there, podcast lovers. Looking for a fresh take on the world? Tune into Nikki's World, where we dive into everything hitting the headlines and chat about just what's on our minds. No filters, just real talk. Whether you're sipping your morning coffee or unwinding after a long day, Nikki's World is your go-to for genuine commentary on the real world. Subscribe now if you want to hear the real deal on what's going on. Join the conversation on Nikki's World, where every episode feels like catching up with an old friend. Don't miss out.
What's up, y'all? Let's do this. Oh, hi guys. Welcome to Nikki's World. I'm Nikki, your host, and today, guys, we got to talk about this one Democrat who said that if they get back into power, they are threatening and intimidating these countries that are working with President Trump. We're going to talk about that and so much more. But before we go any further, guys, if you guys love Nikki's World so much, seriously, y'all, can y'all please consider donating a cup of coffee for me? Because for a price of a cup of coffee at Starbucks, Dunkin' Donuts, and Cumberland Farms, guys, you guys help keep this podcast show alive. You guys help me curate more stories, more topics like this to talk about. I do accept Bitcoin donations. I am on Ko-fi, guys. If you guys want to support, sponsor, donate, and tip to Nikki's World. If you guys love Nikki's World so much, seriously, y'all, please hit that like, subscribe, please give me a review. Good, bad, and the ugly. Also, guys, I do have a bunch of affiliate links. First off is Minds.com. Minds.com is the Connecticut based social media company that is an alternative to Facebook. So if you guys value your right to freedom of speech like I do, and you guys want to say stuff without fear of censorship from all the other liberal social media platforms, you guys can join me at minds.com. Links in the description below. Also, guys, I do have a link with Byrna. Byrna is the less lethal self-defense company, guys. They make their top of the line Byrna SD, Byrna LE, TCR, Mission 4, and their newest compact launcher out there, guys. If you guys value your right to Second Amendment and your right to self-defense in a less lethal manner, guys, you guys can head on over to the folks at Byrna.com. They will hook you up with the self-defense launchers out there. And boy, guys, I do own a Byrna LE pistol myself. So I do believe in the right of the Second Amendment and the right to self-defense, but I want to do it in a less lethal manner, guys. All right? So also, guys, I do have a link with my friends at North Shore Medical Supply. North Shore Medical Supply supplies me with my Megamax diapers, my Eterna boosters, guys, and they make the top of the line diapers out there. North Shore Medical Supply, guys, is the king of diapers out there. They make their Megamax diapers, they make their North Shore Supreme pull ups, guys. And if you know someone, guys, that needs to wear adult diapers like I do and yours truly, send them on over to my friends at North Shore Medical Supply, guys. They will hook them up and they will make sure they're padded up like I am, guys. And before we get this show on the road, literally, guys, if you guys love this episode and any of my other episodes on Nikki's World, seriously, y'all, can y'all please consider sharing this across all the social media platforms that are out there today? Ooh, wow, yeah. Yeah, well, guys. Ooh, wait, that was a mouthful. That was a mouthful. And boy, that was a mouthful. I'm telling you, man. Yeah. Yeah, guys. I had a good weekend, guys, just to let you all know. It was awesome. It was great. Yeah, had fun. Had to do a lot of stuff at home the weekend, so as always, I was always in my diaper and my onesie, so which was great and awesome. So now it's a totally new week, and I'm diapered up, padded up in my North Shore Mega Max diapers with my Turner boosters and my onesies from Little Comforts. Let's get on with the show, shall we? So today, guys, this came on my social media feed and my RSS feed this morning, guys. A high ranking Democrat by the name of Jamie Raskin. He is now saying that he threatens countries that support Trump. When we come back to power, we're not going to look kindly. Hey, Jamie Raskin, there's a thing called the Logan Act out there. There's a thing called the Logan Act. You just violated the Logan Act right there, my boy. You just violated the Logan Act. For you to threaten countries that are working with President Trump, saying that when your party gets back into power, you're not going to look kindly to those countries? Just putting it out there, ladies and gentlemen. Just putting it out there. This guy just threatened other countries? There's a couple of things that come to my mind when I read these articles. And this, by the way, comes from the New York Post, okay? This guy's just committed the Logan Act violation. This guy just committed treason and sedition. The shit alone from this asshole is why him and his whole party will never ever be in fucking power ever again. Never, ever. Not even for 20 years. Maybe 100, maybe like 100 or 50. But the shit that he said on the New York Post and even on the Daily Caller, Jamie Raskin's threat to foreign leaders might as well have been directed at Trump supporters. And then I'll read you the first two paragraphs. Jamie Raskin is a January 6th zealot, the high-ranking Democrat, one of the seven who was appointed by the House Select Committee investigating the events of January 6th, believed that protesters acted as full-on insurrectionists who deserved to be punished as such. In the years that followed, he didn't simply pay lip service to the Democrat Party's narrative on January 6th, but was the worst attack on American democracy since Civil War, he truly believed. And then I'll read this next paragraph. Raskin made the narrative crucial part of his ideology and how he sees his fellow citizens. Anyone who doesn't think that January 6th was the beginning of the end of American democracy, anyone who would continue supporting President Trump after such a catastrophic assault on Capitol is nothing more than less than a fascist. That's what he thinks. But, but, here's the caveat on this. He said this shit on a liberal podcast show called Pod Save America. Okay? He said this shit on another podcast episode, ladies and gentlemen. Not mine, because I wouldn't invite his sorry ass on my show. I wouldn't, but I would invite what Cash Patel, Dan Bongino, who I like thank Dan Bongino wholeheartedly for inspiring me to start this podcast show. I would thank him for that, you know. So I would invite them on the show. But I say like this, man. What Jamie Raskin said on that podcast show, that alone should warrant Pam Bondi going after him for Logan Act violation. Then we can tack on treason and sedition on top of it. For him to say this shit, you know, even on legal insurrection, Representative Raskin threatens countries that cooperate with Trump. Yeah, what an asshole. What an asshole, you know? And even like this, even on the red state, Raskin's comments about what Democrats would do when they get back to power raising eyebrows. Read you the first two paragraphs. Representative Jamie Raskin, Democrat, like Maryland, made the comment on Pod Save America show that is raising a lot of eyebrows. The episode sounds like it was filmed before Senator Chris Van Hollen, a Democrat from Maryland, met with Kilmar Abrego Garcia in El Salvador, but it appears to have just been released over the weekend. Here's the next paragraph. Tommy Vietor explained to Raskin that Latin American policy expert had suggested to him that Democrats should threaten to take action against any foreign government that participate in the extraordinary rendition of American citizen. Albrego Garcia is an American citizen. He asked Raskin what he thought about it. Yeah, and I like this comment that the Red State quoted here. That the Red State is quoting Raskin the same. It's a compliment to something that we need to be doing right now, which is engaging in far more work on transnational democratic solidarity with democratic governments and the democratic movements and the people and the parties of the world to try to prevent the spread of lawlessness and the spread of fascist chaos that has been unleashed against us. And then he said this more. And on the show, Pod Save America. Implicit in that we should be, if when we come back to power, we will, and we are not going to look kindly upon people who facilitate authoritarianism in our country, because that's an assault on our Constitution and our people. You know, Raskin, that comment alone that you said on that show, that's enough evidence to have your ass arrested for Logan Act violations, for treason, and sedition. That comment alone, ladies and gentlemen, should have his ass thrown out of Congress and thrown in prison. That comment alone, guys. Seriously, that comment alone should have his ass thrown away. I mean, literally, guys. Literally. That comment alone should have his ass thrown away. The fact that he said, and he said this, and I'm gonna say this, guys, flag it, guys, because I'm gonna tell you this: if the Democrats ever come back to power in this country and they do this shit, bring this article back in front of your liberal, leftist, socialist, commie friends. Bring that back and tell them that, yeah, this is what they threatened to do when they said this shit. Bring it to their face. Let them see it. Because I'm telling you this, man. This is what the Democrats are threatening to do if they get back into power. Let's say around what? 20, 50, or even to 100 years. This is why, guys, the 2024 presidential election is a wake up call to say that no Democrat should ever hold the White House. No Democrat on God's green earth should hold the White House. Republicans, conservatives, libertarians need to fight tooth and nail to make sure that Republicans do not hold the White House. If they can make sure that Democrats don't hold the the Senate or the House, that's great. But I'll say like this, and I'm going to repeat myself, and I apologize if I misspoke that last. No Democrat should ever hold the White House. So it's that simple. No Democrat should ever hold. The Republicans should fight tooth and nail to make sure that no Democrat ever holds the White House. I don't care for the shit like this that Jamie Raskin has said. Just goes to show Democrats do not deserve to be in power. Democrats do not deserve to hold power in this country. I'm sorry, guys. Democrats do not deserve to hold power. Okay? They do not deserve to hold sway with foreign countries. After the shit they did, after the shit like this, I mean, you gotta be shitting me, man. Are you shitting me? Yeah, you gotta be shitting me. Mm-hmm. I mean, come on, man. Mm-hmm. This is why I say like this. Radskin, you just destroyed the Democrat Party in one swipe. And you just handed Republicans, conservatives, libertarians, independents full control of the country for the next 20, 30, 40, 50, or even 100 years. You just did that, man. Or as I'm going to say, you just played yourself, dude. You just played yourself. You really did, guys. As I'm standing here in my diapers and onesies and saying this to y'all, Democrats have really played themselves here, folks. Democrats have. Democrats have really played themselves. And the fact that like this, they're trying to say that, oh, when we get back into power, we're not going to look kindly on these countries that worked with President Trump. Telling you, ladies and gentlemen, telling you, Democrats, this is why you're never going to be in power. You're never going to hold the White House. For shit like this that you're doing, you're never going to hold the White House ever again. You're never, ever, ever. And the fact that you're blatantly committing Logan Act violations, committing treason and sedition, Democrats should never hold power ever again. Should never hold majority power in this country. They should never, ever hold power again. I'm sorry. People like Jamie Raskin need to get thrown out of office, need to get arrested, prosecuted, and thrown in jail for the rest of their life. They really do, guys. The shit that they do, the kind of violations that they're committing, my God. This is why it's like this, man. This is why Democrats should never hold power. And I'm gonna say this for the billionth time. Democrats should not hold power ever again. They don't deserve it. They don't need it. And I'm telling you why. they don't deserve to hold power. They don't deserve the right to hold power because for the shit they're saying, for the shit they talk, the shit that they write, I don't care. I don't give a shit. I don't. I don't, guys. But in others, and the flip side of this, we have we have this from Red State. Impeachment part trios. Okay? I'll read you the headline. Or in the words of Rondolus Maximus, there you go again. Taking up the mantle last week, Shuri Thander, a Democrat from Missouri, Mr. Thander is outraged and he has had it, saying on X, I have seen enough. Donald Trump is not abiding by lawful Supreme Court ruling. As a member of Congress, I fully support impeaching him. And I like this. You go, guy. Although Representative Al Green and his cane spitted his way out of congressional chambers with the help of the Sergeant at Arms, he threatened to impeach Trump proceedings over President's dastardly deeds. Hat tip to Dr. Doom, the Green Goblin, and Lex Luthor. I don't think that anybody ever bother to take much note, as Al Green is not serious representative. However, now that the progressives think that they have a fish hook bigger than the other two they impeached Trump with, I'll bet they really get behind this one. And this one, of course, is the current immigration matters that keep CNN on the ventilator for a few more months. Let's face it, the progressive media really needs Donald Trump. Their clapping seal must have daily dose of hand tossed perch, or at least lest they starve. So basically it's like this, guys. You got another Democrat besides Representative Byrna Green, and now this Democrat from Missouri by Cherie Thander, who is now threatening to impeach Trump because he's not following the Supreme Court. Gee, Mr. Thander, what were your ass when Joe Biden didn't follow the Supreme Court and did it anyway? What the fuck were you, asshole? Yeah, what the fuck were you? You're now going to impeach Trump because he didn't follow the Supreme Court, but you're going to say it was okay for Joe Biden to do the same thing? You gotta. What the? Are you fucking stupid? Are you fucking out of your damn mind? Are you fucking damn retarded? Yeah, they're saying that Trump needs to be impeached because he's not following the Supreme Court orders or orders from the court. Gee, where the fuck were your ass when Joe Biden was doing the same thing? Joe Biden didn't even follow the Supreme Court orders on what? On what? The federal student loans? You know, garage full of classified documents? You know? Gee, where the fuck were they? Gee. Yeah, the fact that like these two Democrats think it's okay for Joe Biden to defy the Supreme Court. Well, sure, that's it. They go like this. No, he needs to be impeached. He needs to be impeached. This is why I can't take Democrats seriously anymore. This is why I can't take them seriously. They preach about being like, oh, we need to be the rule of law, the rule of law. The rule of law only applies to anyone who has a D behind them. Anyone else, they be calling for them to be thrown in prison, to be treated worse than January Sixers. This Democrat from Missouri thinks that it's okay to impeach Trump because he's not following the Supreme Court. But when Joe Biden does it, he's like this. Yeah, it just goes to show Democrats are stuck on stupid, are dumb as ever. Why do you think they're called Democrats? Because they're dumb fucks. Okay? Why do you think they're called that? Because they're dumbass fucks. Okay? The fact of the matter is, guys, these two people are quick to impeach Trump. Just, even if he farted, okay? But if Joe Biden farted in his diaper or defied the court on federal student loans, giving loan forgiveness to everyone, Democrats are like, huh? 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 I don't see it. I don't see it. But if it's Trump, they'd be calling for his impeachment on all the mainstream legacy media outlets. Yeah. It just goes to show, ladies and gentlemen, Democrats are not a serious party. Democrats are delusional. Democrats are, how am I going to say this in the most politest terms? Democrats are the equivalent of a schizophrenic who don't know what they're talking about, who talk nonsense, who are not grounded in reality. Hell, a schizophrenic would make a Democrat look sane, okay? It's that simple, man. Comparing a Democrat to a schizophrenic, at least a schizophrenic, you can understand what they're saying, but a Democrat, oh, fuck no. Fuck no. Yeah. But the fact of the matter is, guys, you have these Democrats who are now trying to say, "Oh, Trump should be impeached because he didn't listen to the orders of the Supreme Court." Okay, so what about Joe Biden? He should have been impeached too. But Democrats don't. Democrats will be like, what? Yeah, yeah. Seriously, guys, seriously. But to me, These people are these people are nuts. These people are fucking nuts. Fucking insane. The level of insanity, guys, is off the damn charts, guys. The level of insanity out of the Democrats is why they make schizophrenic and bipolar people look normal. They really do, guys. They really do. But for the life of me, guys, these people don't have the votes to impeach Donald Trump. These people do not have the votes. They don't hold majority in the House of Representatives. Although the Senate is a split 50-50, well, you got one independent, but then you have the vice president. The vice president is pro MAGA, pro conservative. So there's no way that Democrats can impeach a president, can impeach Trump. The Senate, including the vice president, they're going to be like this. At least the Republican side, they're going to be like this. You don't have the votes. Sorry. Bye. So that's why the Democrats are talking like a raging schizophrenic, a raging bipolar. They're not grounded in reality. And then when you bring up the ugly truth that Joe Biden did the same thing, but then you don't see the Democrats wanting to impeach him. But if it's Trump, they'd be like, "Oh, impeach, impeach, impeach." But if it's Joe Biden doing it, they'd be looking the other way. Yeah. The fact is, guys, these Democrats are fucking insane. These Democrats are fucking nuts. Are fucking out of their damn mind. Seriously. Seriously, I wouldn't even if I were the House Speaker, I'd be like this. I'd kick that impeachment shit out the door and be like, no, we're not entertaining that. No, we're not talking about that. No, we're not even discussing it. I would kick it out the door in mere seconds, guys. I would, guys. I really would. Wow. Anyway, guys, I want to turn our attention to the lunacy of this article. I have two articles from the New York Post and from the Red State. Okay? From the New York Post, wannabe G.I. Jane sues Navy after her dream of becoming a first female SEAL comes to a crashing end over age. And then from the Red State, the Essex Files, too old for Navy SEALs, woman sues to be part of an elite force. So let me get this straight from this article, and I'm going to read you the gist of the headlines here. A wannabe G.I. Jane's dream of becoming a first Navy SEAL ended because military recruiters have delayed her application so long that she aged out, she claimed in the lawsuit. The Navy officials failed to advance Amanda S. Reynolds' application, then told her in the fall that she would no longer qualify for Naval Officer Training Command in Newport because she would be over the age limit of 42 by the time she graduated, according to court papers. The opportunity was kind of taken away from me, and I would like that to be reinstated. Reynolds, 41, told the Post, I would just like the outcome to be determined by merits instead of some sort of technicality. So let me get this straight. Let me get this straight. You have this 41-year-old who wants to be a Navy SEAL, wants to go through BUDS and SEAL training, but the Navy's telling her by the time you enter OCS school, you will be over the age limit. Okay? That alone means that you will be too old to go to BUDS and Navy SEAL school. That's why a lot of these military specialty schools have age limits. They have them for a reason. It's for health and safety reasons. Older people have a lot of health problems when you get older. That this woman from Long Island, New York, seems to not fucking understand the fact that she wants to be a Navy SEAL, and then looking at her pictures below, you know, looking at her pictures below like that, she thinks that she has what it takes. Telling you guys, she can't meet the physical requirements. She can't. She can't, ladies and gentlemen. She can't. The problem is like this. She's getting too old. Now, she wanted to be like what? A doctor, a PA, or a nurse? The military be like, no, we don't care about the age limit. Doctors are doctors, nurses, lawyers, engineers. They're a specialty. They're a specialized officer. That means they don't have no combat duties or anything. They don't. They're 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 what they call a special officer. They're not what they call line officers. Yeah, line officers. Yeah, they have to have age limits and all that. I understand if she wanted to be, because she said she's a lawyer, so she could have gone to what, the Judge Advocate General Court. They probably don't have an age limit. They probably, the most they'll probably say like this. Well, yeah, she can come in. She'll just be a JAG lawyer instead of a Navy SEAL officer. She'll be like a JAG lawyer. That's why for Navy SEALs, most of the Navy SEALs are what? Enlisted, okay? Or NCOs, like non-commissioned officers. Yeah, most of them. Very few officers in the SEALs. Because for an officer for an officer in the Navy to be a Navy SEAL officer, you gotta convince at least an admiral to let you try out, let alone try out for it. Yeah, you gotta at least be. You gotta at least convince an admiral. If you can't convince the admiral's going to be like this. Nah, man, go back to your line job. That's it. But this woman who's saying that she is suing the Navy because of age discrimination, I'm telling you, she is living in delusion. And even this, she returned to Long Island again, chased her dreams of joining the SEALs, but found recruiters were quick to urge her to use her legal skills in the military's judge advocate general. She claims the recruiter told her age waivers were always obtainable. Yes, age waivers are always obtainable for specialty officers. Okay? In the military, there's an age limit for a reason. It's because of health and safety reasons. All right? There's a reason for that. Some specialties, for example, like say if you have a commercial pilot's license, if you have a registered nurse, a PA, MD, or law license, those can be waived up to a certain point. Those can be waived because they're what they call specialty officers. They're specialized officers. They're officers who, due to their profession, their training, their years of schooling, and all that, they can be commissioned up to like, I believe there are some doctors that can be commissioned up to 50 because due to their extensive schooling that the military is able to bring them in as an officer, like say a cardiologist or thoracic surgeon or like a radiologist. Yeah, it's because of their schooling, and these doctors will probably never see the front line of a combat unit. Most likely is like a PA or an NP. More likely, yeah. But most of the doctors will see what at a hospital, just like a combat hospital or naval hospital, like that. But the fact that she wanted to be a SEAL, she won't even be able to meet the requirements. And if you look at the requirements right here on the red state, okay, look at this. To qualify for even to enter the school alone, you got to swim 500 yards using breaststroke or side stroke for 12 minutes or 30 seconds less. You got to do at least a minimum of 50 push ups in 2 minutes, sit ups, 50 in 2 minutes, pull ups, 10 or more. And you got to be able to run a mile and a half in boots and pants in 10 minutes and 30 seconds. Yeah. And at 40, what, one? I don't think you're going to be able to run that. I mean, there are some 41s that are in the best shape of their life. Yeah. But for this woman, she ain't gonna meet it. She ain't gonna meet it. She just fooling herself. She just upset because she wants to be like those combat women in Israel. Okay? There are few militaries in the world, ladies and gentlemen, that allow women direct roles in combat. The U.S. is one of them. Israel is one of them. The UK is one of them. Canada is one of them. Australia and New Zealand. Yeah. But the fact that all these countries have what we call standards, which means you have to meet what? Like age, physical standards to be able to enter the school, let alone enter a unit. Telling you, telling you guys, that's why it's like this. Even in the Coast Guard, we have age standards. Okay, we have age. We have age and physical standards for a few jobs, like rescue swimmers. You gotta be. It's like this. For the rescue swimmers in the U.S. Coast Guard, You got to be like Michael Phelps, okay? You got to be that guy who can literally swim the entire Long Island Sound, no problem, okay? You got to be the guy that can literally jump out of a helicopter 30 feet into the water, swim 500 yards to a sailboat. You got to be able to do that shit. But there are people that go like this. Yeah, if you meet the physical requirements, the age requirements, here you go. Here you go. Here's a candidate for the school. Let's see if he passes the class. He passes the class, he's got the job. Yeah. But this Long Island lawyer is suing because her dream of being a Navy SEAL got dashed? I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. It's insane. I know there are women that have gone through Ranger School. Ranger School is less intense than Green Berets and Navy SEALs, but Rangers are what? They're premier light infantry special ops unit, and their sole job is what? Being the guy that kicks the door or helps secure the airfield for special operations. Yeah, but their standards are pretty strict too. Their standards are strict. For an enlisted to go into Ranger School, you're tested at boot camp. In basic training, there are Ranger instructors that come over that will evaluate a recruit just to make sure they meet the standards to go to even enter the school. Yeah, and their standards are set high for a reason. It's because the job that they do. Hell, I'll say like this: I give mad props to people who can do that job. I go like this: if I was younger in my 20s, if I was younger in my 20s like that, and I was physically fit in my 20s, hell, I would probably do it. But now I'm in what, my late 40s, almost pushing 50. I'm like, nah, you guys go. You guys go. Go, 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 go. I go like this to the younger bunch. Here, let me shove them in the door to the classroom for you. Here you go. It's that simple. Shove them in the door in the classroom. Say, "Here you go, T. There you go, Professor. You teach them what they need to be a ranger." You know, it's that simple. But the fact that this woman is suing, I mean, literally, man, literally, she will not be able to survive it. You know what I mean? She will not be able to survive it. But yet she's trying to say like this, oh, because the Navy denied because I'm a woman. No, it's because we denied you on the grounds of because you're old, too old for the school. The school has health, safety, and physical requirements that are strict be that cannot be waived. It's a non-waivable school. The 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 instructors, the teachers will just sit there and say, I can't waive that requirement because we have health and safety rules that are so strict because of operational requirements. But this woman from Long Island, New York, is suing the Navy in court in New York. It's the level of stupidity out there that makes me go like this. How stupid are these people really? How stupid are these people? These people are that arrogant and stupid. It's because these people are brought up on a generation of, oh, me. I'm entitled, I'm entitled, I'm entitled, I'm entitled. This is why, as a Gen Xer, and I'm going to say this, if you don't meet the requirements, too bad. Do something else. Do something else. It's that simple. Do something else that makes you happy, that you can physically do with no problem. Okay? I I go like this. To those guys in special ops, you guys are like what, the top 10% of the country who's physically fit to do the job? Yeah. But for this Long Island woman who's a lawyer, for Christ's sakes, you're just making yourself look like an ass, an idiot, and delusional. You really are, guys. You really are making yourself look like an ass. I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know what's wrong with this generation that is so entitled that you have to sue your way into Navy SEALs, into buds. If you don't meet the physical requirements, or if you don't meet the school's entrance requirements, then you're not fit for it. They don't care if you're male or female. If you don't meet the requirements that the school has set forth, saying that, oh, you have to meet the physical, you have to meet the mental, okay? You have to meet the academic, the age, okay? All these requirements that the school has set forth. And they're set that for a reason. It's because of operational requirements. And this woman, 41, thinking that she wants to be a SEAL, telling you, man, we're living in a generation where there are people who just think that they're so entitled to this and this and this and this and this. I'm I'm going like this. Where do we go wrong in this world? Where did we go wrong? And if she's what, 41? Say like this. So 40 years ago, she would have been born in what? The 90s? Yeah. So she would have been born in what? The 1990s? She would have made adulthood in what? In her what? Like, let's say like mid 2000s, like 20, between 2015 and 2020. Dan did like about 20 years. So she could have done it a long time ago, but you know. But look, I go like this. These people who think that they're entitled to so many things, they live in delusion, man. They literally do. They literally live in delusion. They literally live in fantasy. I'm gonna say this before we move on to this final story, guys. This woman is an example of why we have a generation of people who are so entitled and that they think that they deserve everything. It's that I kind of sit there and go, she doesn't deserve to be a Navy SEAL. She doesn't even deserve to go to it. The school has strict requirements for that reason. Yeah, and they have that. They have those requirements for that reason. And if she doesn't understand that and doesn't get that through her thick headed skull, maybe let her try out, see what happens. If she breaks an ankle, breaks an elbow, breaks an arm, or breaks part of her body while trying out for it, just say like this: you signed the paper, you can't, you absolve us of liability, but you are trying out for it. And then now we know you can't meet the school's entrance requirements. Yeah, but this is an example of stupid people thinking that they're entitled to shit. This is an example of stupid smart people who think they're entitled. Okay? It's clearly one of these people who don't know that they're in way over their damn head. They literally are. They literally are, guys. But anyway, before we end the show today, I want to say like this. I got this article from News Nation that Pope Francis has died today at the age of 88. He yesterday met with Vice President J.D. Vance, and then this morning I woke up and he passed away. Wow. I was like, wow, 88 years old? That guy lived a good damn life. But he was in decline anyway because he had like bouts of what bronchitis coming about like that. So he had issues like that. So I'm gonna say like this: the guy lived a good life. The guy lived a good long life, and yeah, he kicked the bucket, and he was yesterday talking like having Easter service and meeting with Vice President J.D. Vance, and then now come to find out this morning he didn't wake up, passed away. I go like this: God rest his soul, man. God rest his soul. I hope he gets to meet. I hope he gets to meet what God and Jesus. You know, I hope he gets to meet with them. But God rest his soul, man. But as a Buddhist, I go like this: he lived a good life. He lived a good life. He owes my thoughts and prayers. But as a Buddhist, that's all I'm just gonna say. But I'm just gonna say like this: the man lived a good life. The man lived a good life. So now the College of Cardinals are all having to be flown back to the Vatican, where now they're gonna have to choose a new pope. That's after the funeral. So after the funeral for Pope Francis, that's when they're gonna literally start looking for a new pope. And we all know how they're gonna do this. They're gonna lock themselves in a room and decide and vote who the new pope is. If they have a new pope, you'll see a white smoke. But if they don't have a new pope, you'll see a black smoke. Maybe we should do the same thing on who they decide to be president. Maybe it's like this. If they got a white smoke, we got a new president. If they got a black smoke, oh, we don't have a new president. Maybe we should do something like that, guys. Maybe we should consider doing something like that. Something to consider, you know what I mean? Something to consider, fathom, and think about, guys. You know? But I know, like this, what's going to happen a couple of days from now. World leaders are going to converge on the Vatican. They're going to come for the funeral, for the service. You know, the Italian airport's going to be like what? Filled to, or the Italian airports are going to be filled to capacity with world leaders and religious leaders coming globally for the funeral. Man, I feel sorry for the Italian government that's going to have to deal with this shit. I really do, man. But a funeral is a funeral, guys. And yeah, it's sad that he kicked the bucket, but as they say, guys, we all gonna go. It's a matter like this: when our time's up, you know. But it's sad that he passed away, man. He was shaking hands with Vice President J.D. Vance yesterday, and now he kicked the bucket. Yeah, he really did, guys. He really did, and it's a shocker, guys. It really is. But anyway, I want to say like this, guys. It was a good show today. It was a good show. And it's sad that we had to end that show on a somber moment. But yeah, it is what it is. But I will say like this: it was an awesome, good show. You know, I thank you guys for listening to Nikki's World. I'm Nikki, your host. I gotta go do a diaper change because, yeah, I did poop while talking to y'all on the podcast show. So I gotta go do that. But I hope y'all have a good day. I will see y'all soon. Bye for now. You just listened to an episode of Nikki's World. Thanks for listening. We'll see y'all soon. Bye for now.